Okay. Hi guys, BRANKA and Cleo here from Novak Properties, talking to you all about tenants, all tenants in 2023.
Hello.
Hi Brunks.
Hi, Cleo.
I couldn't hear the intro then. I think it was muted. Oh well.
Now, music was really loud. We could hear
Oh
it.
good. Oh good. It must be on my end. So our topic tonight, everything tenant related. Tenants in 2023, what it looks like.
Exciting 2023 is here. And yeah, what we're going to have for our tenants in 2023.
That's a good question because a lot of the media coverage at the moment is that it's quite tough for tenants out there, especially when applying for rental properties. And I guess we'd like to be able to help out a little bit with some of our knowledge on how to help tenants when they're looking for properties.
That's right. For a change, it's a little bit rental market, and rentals part of real estate is in the spotlight at the moment, isn't it?
That's all I'm hearing as well. When you turn the TV on, it's rental shortage, long queues, lots of people applying for the same properties.
Yep, it is big competition there.
It's true. And I guess people are asking, well, what's caused this? Why now? During COVID, it was different. Now we're seeing, the rental market is booming. Landlords are getting a lot more rent for their property.
Yeah, it's almost like the rent, everything is back to normal. And like a couple of years, last year and year before, during the COVID, city properties were a bit quiet and vacant, more vacancy than before, than ever. And now that's back to normal again, that the city is popular again, isn't it? It's not anymore like a properties that they are a bit inland. That was more popular during the COVID time. Now it's a back to normal. Everyone is going back to city.
Yeah, definitely. And, our borders are open. People are coming back. The work opportunities have landed them new roles. And I guess that would also attract, a bit of a spike in the rental market.
Yeah, and as much as they're saying that borders are open and all that, we cannot see much applicants from overseas, isn't it? It is still, we do have some, but it's still a local people that moving around and taking properties. What do you think?
Yeah. And yeah, definitely not as many people from overseas. Not like we've had in the past. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but certainly in the Sydney and New South Wales area, we're seeing the most interest in Northern Beaches and the city. We currently don't have a lot of rental stock available at all. We've been saying that for the last couple of months now, where we're getting one or two tenants giving notice, and that's pretty much it. Whereas, there's lots of tenants turning up to the open homes.
Yep, it is, especially now. It's nicer weather. It is Saturdays are very popular. Wednesdays are as well. Wednesday opens, but Saturday is really busy, isn't it? If
And
we
our
have
leasing team,
30 or
I've
50
got
people in one property, it is a lot.
It is. That's you as an owner, if you were renting your property, and your tenant's given notice now, I would not be worried at all. If anything, I think it's a great time to have your property come available for rent, because you've got a lot more selection of tenants as well, to choose from during that whole application process.
That's right, and also getting a much more rent what they're receiving at the moment.
It's true. I've had a few clients that have opted to have the tenants move out and start a reletting campaign from scratch just based on that rental demand because they don't feel it's just to increase the rent so high for their current tenant. So they're moving the tenant along so they can test the market, you know, with a new tenancy in place and a new higher rent.
Yeah. Another question that we have at the moment is from applicants is how to support their applications to secure the property. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess we've talked about it a lot in the past, and anytime a tenant applies for a property, we like to say, you know, make sure your documents are in place, you've got all the information that the agent requires. But we're seeing a lot of the apps have that now already. So, what's going to make your application stand out? I guess if I was a tenant applying for a rental property now in this current climate, I would be trying to get in there first, as in get my application in to the property manager. When I've seen the property, don't just rely on that process just happening behind the scenes because sometimes the leasing team may forget that you're the one at the open home that was really interested. So I would be calling the next day or even the afternoon and saying, "Hi guys, I've just applied. I'm super duper keen for this property. If there's anything at all in my application that I'm missing or that you think the owner may need, please let me know and I'll get it to you straight away."
What do you mean? What do you think about pre applying before getting to open home inspection? Especially if you are familiar with the building, familiar with the properties, you can see these days most of our properties have even walkthrough video on our ads. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea pre-applying for property. It doesn't mean you pre-apply for 20 properties and just hope, you know, the one is successful. I think do, like you said, watch your video, watch your, um, you know, the walkthrough videos. And if it ticks those boxes and it's at a rent that you think is reasonable for you, then it's a great idea. Getting in first, definitely. And owners like to know that someone, you know, has already handed in documents when their property is going live because they still aren't 100% sure, you know, who's going to apply for the property. So having a bit of a sneak peek would definitely help.
Yeah. And also these days, most people applying on the line, then it's easy to pull out as well if they're not interested for the property or if that is not a property that is for them, isn't it?
It's true. And unfortunately in this market, rental history outweighs finance, in my opinion. You have a clean ledger where you pay rent on time and can support the rent because even though you might be applying for something that you feel is within your means, if your rental history hasn't been good at say 500 a week and you're applying at something at 650, then there's no confidence from that owner that you're going to be able to support that money. So um, having money in the bank is great, but if you're renting through an agent and you have a clean ledger, I think that gives you an advantage in this market,
That's
definitely.
true. That's true. And because in our office, ledger is the first things what we look for, not a written reference from previous owners or something or previous agent. The ledger from the real estate, from their system, where it shows all the payments, all invoices that are paid on the time, that there is not any arrears, any notices or something. That's the most important, isn't it?
It's true. A clean record is probably the number one thing I would go for. The owners that also have put money into their property during COVID and updated and, you know, renovated and painted and did kitchens and bathrooms, they want to know as well that you know, as a tenant, you've looked after the property, you've had your bond back. You know, that's also going to compete with say tenants that, you know, might have had a reason but do have some inherent issues from previous tenants. So sometimes we get asked, why wasn't my application successful? And the hard truth is probably, well, you might have had a few arrears on your ledger, or the agent said that you were a bit untidy at the open home. So it is really a bit of a race course at the moment. You know, the best horse wins.
Yep. And what do you think? Who is the one who approves application? Who makes
Always
that
the
decision?
owner. It's always the owner. We process the details. That's what we're trained to do, to look for the criteria that we need. We process and ask those questions, and then we present the application to the owner. The owner has preferences. Some owners have been stung in the past by previous situations, and so they might have a preference themselves, whether they want somebody that's, you know, a single professional, or whatever their criteria might be, apart from obviously rental history and employment. It's never up to us. I never use the word I recommend or I suggest you go with these people. It's always, these are people that have applied. Here's the facts. You decide who you would like.
Yeah, agent is there to process the application. Agent is not there to make a decision, isn't it?
It's true. It's true. And, you know, we're the middle person always. Whatever information you want us to put on there about your dog or your cat, or asking rent, or I'm happy to sign a 12-month lease or longer, or happy to pay 6 months up front, we're always going to present that information. You know, and during COVID, for example, paying a lump sum in advance was very attractive to some of our clients, and that put those applications at the forefront.
Yeah.
I guess as well, what's also been highlighted with this whole rental boom and the way rents are at the moment, it's highlighting current tenants that we have in place, and it's making owners really question how they look at their investment long term. If they've supported a tenant in the last 2 to 3 years financially for a bit, now might be a time where they think, you know, I've got so many tenants out there looking for property. I'd really prefer someone, for example, that pays on time, or, you know, hasn't got financial problems. So if you are a tenant out there and you've been in the property for a while, and you might fall in that category, I would say now would be the time to really try and get on track with your payments and just your situation, because you then could be forced to being out there Wednesdays and Saturdays and competing in this hard climate.
Yeah. That's great.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, I think we touch base with everything. We have said about references. We did say about applications, range, and current demand. Is anything else that you would add?
Not necessarily. Like, it's not all doom and gloom. There is still a lot of property for tenants out there, and some tenants are still upsizing and downsizing. So there is still a little bit for everyone. The city market is true and what they portray from the media and on TV. But again, I still feel like being born and bred on the Northern Beaches, seeing a line out the door is quite rare. Like, you see a lot of tenants applying, a lot of people, but nothing like what they show on like Channel 9 or the media, where there's like 100 people applying for one property. You know, it can happen that we get a lot of applications for a property, but if you're a tenant, don't feel disheartened by what you see in the media. We still do have a lot of good property, and a range of different rental properties available, from houses to one bedders to, you know, affordable accommodation.
Yeah, affordable accommodation is still most popular, isn't it? And we have a two-bedroom units that they are between $550 to $900, and of course they all good properties, but they have a different value because they offer different facilities. And
Yeah,
every day
and look,
has a
yeah.
tenant hall.
Yeah, look, some people don't need a car space. Some people are happy to be in sort of like a bed sitter, or that sort of arrangement. You know, whatever your circumstances are, you know, there is a property out there for you. And like Branka said, we do have a range from varying from pricing. you know, all up to your high end properties. And, you know, I do think that the market will probably shift in the next month or two. And as more tenants are served rent reviews and increases that they can't afford, they'll have to look at other accommodation. And that again is going to, you know, put more properties back out there. That's what I think might happen. Not a full-on prediction. I haven't got my crystal ball, but I just think that because there are still, you know, a lot of owners that are planning to increase rents as well, that will change the market in availability.
Yeah. And it's what is your advice as being a property manager for so many years?
Get a lot of sleep, look after yourself, because there's always trying times ahead. Look, I really think that when the market is shifting and changing, stability is key. If you can negotiate with your owner on what your circumstances are, there's a lot of people that are able to negotiate terms when it comes to their stability, especially children with, you know, tenants with children, you know, that are in local schools and things like that. If there's a property that just doesn't suit you, sometimes dragging your feet and making it that the property, you know, trying to make the property into something that it's not, you're better off just biting the bullet and making the change, because sometimes that change can really benefit your lifestyle. Although moving's a pain, but you know, in the long run, some things just won't change with that property, or you know, the state of the property, or whatever it is, repairs or maintenance or issues like that. But I guess just negotiate, keep your dialogue open. And if you have something you want to ask the owner, then, you know, speak to your property manager, where we'll always pass on that information.
Yep. We are always open for conversation.
For sure.
Yeah. We do have lots of properties on the market, and we are getting all time new properties as well. So if you are looking for the property, please contact us. We may have a suitable property for you. Or if not, then we can put you on our database, and we are happy to communicate when something suitable comes up, to call you, contact you, and show you property. We still do here regular open home inspections, plus we do private inspections as well.
Yes, we're available 24/7. We never sleep. We eat and breathe property. And like Branka said, it's true. We bring on new managements every week, every day. We have properties coming on from other offices, new clients. So even though it's not online, doesn't mean it's not in the pipework, for sure. Good tip, Bron.
Right. Thank you.
Well, I hope everyone has a great evening.
Hope you got good tips for applying.
Yes, I'm sure I've got a stack of applications on my desk for tomorrow to get through. So early night for us, I think, tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Branka. Talk soon. Bye, guys.
Good night.
Bye. You too. See you. Bye.